Alright everyone, in here we're going to go ahead and create ourselves a bot for our Discord server using GDScript. Alright, so the first thing we're going to need to do is actually create a bot application that we can actually use and connect to. And this is something that you're going to do regardless of what language you were to create this bot in. So you're going to head on over to the Discord developer portal and go to applications. If you don't know how to get here, you can go ahead and just Google Discord developer portal and this will come up. And just click on applications in the top left. If you're not signed in, you'll have to sign in. So now that we're here, we can go ahead and hit new application. We're going to call this tutorial YT and hit create. Alright, now that it's been created, in GDScript, we don't have to worry about the application ID or the public key or any of that. What we need to do is actually go to bot on the left-hand side here and hit add bot. Now our application actually has a bot that we can access. And the first thing we need to do is we obviously need to get a bot into our server. So I've gone ahead and created a brand new server here. It's completely empty, nothing here, nobody here. And we need to get our bot in our server. Well, to do that, if you've added a bot in the past, you usually have a link that you click on and it asks you, hey, where do you want to add this bot to? So to get that, we actually go to the OAuth 2 section on the left-hand side. Go down to URL generator. And for the scopes, we're going to select bot. And then I'm just going to go ahead and select all of the text permissions. That way my bot can do everything that it can through text. I don't need it to do any moderation or kicking people, banning people, or any of that. I just need it for the text, so that's all I'm going to select here. And now we have our URL. So if we go ahead and hit copy, or you can go ahead and highlight all that and copy it yourself. This is now the link that you would give to yourself or anyone else that's actually going to use this bot. And this is how they'll get it into the server. So I'll go to a new tab and just paste it in there. And you'll see we'll come up with this. It's a little strange that it's off to the side, but nothing we can do about that. So we'll go ahead and select the tutorial server, and I'll hit continue. And it's just letting me know these are all the permissions that it needs. That's fine. Authorize. I am human. And there we go. If we were to take a look at the server now, we now have our tutorial YT bot here. Great. So we now have our bot in our server. How do we access it? Well, this is where we can go over to Godot here, or Godot. And we're actually going to go to the asset lib, the asset library up here. And we're going to do a search for Discord. And we can actually find a discord.gd script here. And this is going to handle interfacing, or handle the interface with, between us here in GDScript and some of the backend with communicating with Discord and the webhooks and everything. Everything that goes on behind the scenes there. Now, if you've used Python, there is a very similar one that goes along with that. That goes along the same name. Obviously, it's not discord.gd. It would be discord.py or discord.py. Something along those lines. So if you've used that, this is going to be fairly similar. So you can go ahead and just click on discord.gd. Hit download. And once that's done and pops up here, you can hit the install button. And that'll create a little add-ons folder here. Down here in your file systems, if you don't have one already. And you'll see we get all these other files in here. Now, you may need to come up here into project settings, plugins tab, and you might need to enable it yourself. If not, great. If so, it's easy to do. Then you can go ahead and create your main scene. In my case, I'm just using a control node. And it's just a blank window for me. And you're going to go ahead and add as a child to this. You're going to hit the plus and add in a Discord bot. And this is going to be a child of a, or not child, but coming from an HTTP request node. So you see we have a brand new node here now called Discord bot. Go ahead and add that. And now on your control node, your main, this is the script that we are going to create that's going to handle our commands and everything that comes in. And the script that's on our Discord bot node is actually handling all the backend stuff. Now, if you're actually interested in all of that, you can actually come in and take a look, see everything that's held within a message, and you can get all this information. So on here, you can get all the information for a user, and you can see all this stuff, all the kind of stuff that's in here if you wanted to take a look. As you see, it is a lot of code. This one script alone is over 1,000 lines, but if you do get curious or want to see everything that it can do, or you want to know how everything is being done, you can come in and you can take a look. For us, we just need our main here, and we're going to start out with 2 variables. We're going to have one for our token, and we're going to have one for our command prefix. Now, I'm going to use an exclamation point for the prefix, as this is the most commonly used prefix for commands. So why not continue using that, right? Now, you could also make this anything you want. If you want to make something special for your server, you can, but I'm just going to go with the standard. Now, for your token, you're actually going to get this from your developer portal. So if we just go back, we just head on back over to that, click on bot on the left-hand side, and this is your token. You can go ahead and just hit copy, and then inside of token here, we need it to be a string, and so you can just go ahead and paste it in there. Now, it's okay that you can see this while I'm doing this, because I can just hit regenerate if I need to, but I'm just going to delete this entire application afterwards anyway. But for you guys, make sure that you don't show this to other people, because you don't want them to be able to gain access to your bot. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is we need to set our token, get our bot, log in, and get fully connected. So we can do that inside of our ready function. So as soon as our application runs, we're going to create a variable called Discord bot, and that's just going to be our node called Discord bot, just to make it a little cleaner. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to, but that's up to you. We're going to call token on Discord bot, and we're going to set that equal to our token variable. Now, if I control click, you can see inside of our discord.GDScript here, you can see token is a variable and it has to be a string. So if yours isn't a string and you're having an error, there would be your issue as to why. Going back, we can call the login function, and again, if you're curious on what that is, you can go ahead and control click, and you can see the full login system here, and take a look at that if you wanted to. And then we're going to connect 2 signals to our script here. We're going to connect the bot ready signal and the message create signal. Our bot ready signal we're going to connect to a function called _on_bot_ready, and we're going to connect the message create signal to _on_message_create. So this will be when our messages get created, and this will be when our bot is ready to go. And again, you can you can't control click with that one, but you'd have to go in and you could take a look at these signals and see exactly what. Well, you can't really see what they do because we're going to define what they do, but you can go in there and you can see all the different signals that are attached to the Discord bot here if you wanted. So let's go ahead and create our function for our onBotReady, and I'm just going to go ahead and print into the console a string called connected. That way I know that we've been successfully connected right in my output terminal. And I should mention, because I skipped over it there for a second, but in our onReadyBot function, we actually take a parameter of a bot, and it's just being defined here that it has to be a Discord bot of the Discord bot class. Alright, so we can go ahead and do bot.setPresence, and this will be a dictionary with our key being activity, and then that is also a dictionary that has type and name. Now, this is actually what shows up on the side of Discord when it says that you're playing something, such as it'll say like is playing Valorant or is playing Witcher 3 or whatever. Because it's a game type, it'll say is playing, and then the name here is what you want to put in. So if I just move this over here real quick, and you see if I run this, we'll see our status here update. So go ahead and run that and move this in. And you can see it says playing because it is a game type, and it says Hail the Blue Overlord because that is the name that we set here. So you can go ahead and set that to whatever you want. You can have fun with that if you want, but you can all mess around with all that. And if you're curious about the things that you can do here, again, you can hold control, hit set presence, and you can see your options. So you can see the status, whether or not your bot's set to AFK. We got the type, our name, we've got URL, we've got created at. So we have all these four different elements here of our activity. And if you want P options, we've got 2 options in there that we can set. All right. So with that, if you've had no errors, then your bot should be connected. You've got a type and a name going on here. Everything's good. We see it says connected inside of our output on our console. We've got our status here being set, or rather our type and name of our activity being set here and created. Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. Now, what if we want to run a command or check when a message gets sent? Well, for that, I'm just going to go ahead and grab these now and pull this up. There we go. So we'll create our function onMessageCreated for our other signal here that we connected. And that's going to take argument of a bot, which has to be a Discord bot class, a message, which has to be of our message class, and channel, which is a dictionary. So these are the things that are going to be sent back to us. So we have to put these in as our parameters. So the first thing we want to do is check if message.author.bot. And if it is, return. What this is going to do is it's going to say if our bot is the author of the new message that was created. So if the last message sent, or if the message that was sent in the Discord server was from our bot, do nothing. Just ignore it and return. Likewise, if we want this to be commands, then we need to tell it that if the message that comes in, if the contents of our message does not begin with our prefix, then ignore it, just return. So if it doesn't have our prefix at the beginning, then it's not a command. If it's not a command, then our bot doesn't need to pay any attention to it. Now, on the chance that the message is not from our bot, which means it's from an actual user, and this returns false, which means that it is a command. The user is using the prefix at the beginning of their message. Then we need to actually decipher what's going on. So we're going to create a variable called raw content, and we're going to take the message.content of it. So we're going to get the message itself, and we're just going to strip off the prefix. So if I just come in, alright, so if I just come in here, so if we got a message and it comes in such as like this, and someone sends this message, ! Hug, glitch, then what we're doing here is we're going to take this content, this is the message content, and we're going to remove the prefix off of it. So at this point, we're basically going to go like that, and this is now what our raw content looks like. Hug space glitch. Alright, we're going to create a variable for tokens, and we're going to use regular expressions here to actually go through our message and get everything. And regular expressions use some really weird code, but we're going to compile using /s+. And if you want, you come in, you can click on compile, and you can take a look at what exactly it does, which is right up here at the top. So error compile, compiles and assigns the search pattern to use, returns OK if the compilation is successful, or if there is an error. Details are printed out, which we don't have an error, or we shouldn't have an error, which is great. So we go into a for loop. So for token in our search all for our raw contents. So we're searching through our hug glitch at this point, and we're going to append on the string of each token here. So at this point, we should have our message on the back end should look like, whoops, should look like this now at this stage after our for loop. So if we were to print token 0, we would see that we should get hug as a string as the first item. And because of that, that's obviously going to be our command, because that's what initially, that's initially, what do I keep clicking like that? That's initially what followed up our prefix, our command prefix, right? So token 0, the first item in our list here, our token array, is our command. So we assigned a variable cmd, which is short for command, to token 0. And then we actually remove that out of our list. So that'll now leave us with just glitch from where we started. And everything that's left in this array is going to be assigned to args, which is short for arguments. So this is now all of our arguments that we can use. Now, however we want to use that, we can. So in this case, if it was like hug, then you can hug this user, or you can hug this person. And if you want, you can go ahead and you can just print out, again, the CMD, which should be the same thing as what we had before of print tokens 0. So hopefully that gave you a decent understanding on what is going on during this process here when a message comes in. And the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to call a command called handle command and pass in the bot message channel, the command, and the arguments for my message now that we're done with it. And handle commands is going to be a function that we create here. Just uncomment that. Alright, so we have our function called handle command. And again, we have our bot message channel command and arguments all being passed in, as we need these as arguments for our function in order to know what we're doing. And I'm going to do a match statement, which basically says if command matches this, then do this. If it matches this, do this. If it matches this, then do this, right? So you can do this and just continue down this line for each command. So if I wanted to add in a new command, I just come in and I would be like, let's call this command hello. And then whatever we want this to be, right? So in this case, I could just call the bot send, and we'd actually just send a message here. So I can come in here like so, bot.send, pass in the message, and then put the actual message here. So hello user. And now, just like that, we've created a new command for our bot. So it's very easy to add on to your list of different commands. But what I have here is I have test. And what this is actually doing, this is showing you here on line 66, how to actually get the user identifier so that we can actually tag a user in our responses. So if we were to look at just message, you would see a ton of information showing up down here. And if you want to take a look at that, you most certainly can. But what we want is we want to get the message, author, and then the ID. So we want the ID of the author within the message. And to pass that in, we actually use these little carrots here, I believe people call them. And inside of that, we use the @ symbol, and then we use %s as our placeholder. And then we concatenate that in with our message author ID. So in this case, this is all you need in order to actually send a message. And this is what you need to actually tag a user. Now, if you wanted to reply or edit your own message, you can use bot.edit, and you would actually need to get your message that you put in there. So in this case, our variable is message in this ping, and we're waiting for this message to be sent because we're actually going to get a ping. But you see, we're setting this variable is equal to our reply message, so our response. And then you can use that variable to tell it which message to edit and then what to edit it to. In this case, again, we're adding in our latency to the message. So if you wanted to look at how to get latency, here's how you would do it. And that'll give you a ping pong message. And then of course, hello here just gives us user. So if we were to run this, now this obviously doesn't do anything, but we want Discord here. So now if we were to come in here and we were to say hello, we would get no response because our message does not start with a prefix. And remember, our prefix started with our exclamation point. So now if we do exclamation point hello, we should get a message sent saying hello user. And there we go. It's as simple as that. If you wanted to do a reply, so I just changed it to reply real quick. Not sure if I'll need to reboot for that to take effect, but we'll take a look. I do the same thing now. Exclamation point hello. Okay, so I would need to just reboot that. Then again, you can see now it comes up as a reply to me. So if somebody had a question, or if they use a command called Q or quest or whatever, you can do this and your bot can respond directly to that person, which is great because then they get notified that they've been answered, right? And we can take a look at that ping. So you're going to see the message pop up, and then my ping should be really quick. So you're going to see the message change fairly fast. So if I do ping, there you go. You saw it came up ping, and then the message was edited to Pong and displayed the latency, which is 205, which was not that great this time. 235. And again, 278. Ooh, it seems to be getting a little worse at the moment. Probably because I'm spamming commands in here. And to demonstrate tagging a user, I'll go ahead and I'll use test. And you can see, there we go. There's how we get a tag. And in the output here, you can see all this information that you can use to get everything, or all the different information that you have access to within your message. And that is a ton of information, but I've shown you how to tag a user. I've shown you how to do replies. I've shown you how to send messages, how to have your bot edit one of its own messages, and how easy it is to just constantly add commands. So at this point, it's just normal scripting for you. So if you wanted to do a queue list, you can just create a variable up here for your array, right? Call it list or queue or whatever. And then if somebody puts in the command, you can get their name here, either message.author for their name or message.author.id if you want to get the full tag. And you can just add them to that list. You can add them to the queue. So it's from this point on, it's really just normal scripting or whatever you want to put in.